Men, if you are over 60 and every night you lie awake staring at the ceiling, praying you can fall back asleep before another painful trip to the bathroom, if your bladder feels like a ticking bomb, if every drop of urine feels like a battle, if your stream is weak, slow, or broken, and you feel trapped inside a body you no longer recognize, then listen closely, because what I'm about to say may shock you. There is one natural fruit that has been clinically shown to rapidly reduce prostate swelling, restore strong urine flow, and dramatically cut nighttime bathroom trips, with many men reporting noticeable relief in as little as 24 hours, yet almost no one is talking about it. For years, you've likely been told that prostate problems are just a normal part of aging, something you must accept, something you must learn to live with. But that is the greatest lie men have ever been sold. The truth is, your prostate is not failing because of your age. It's failing because it is starved of blood flow and drowning in inflammation. Fix those two things, and the body begins to repair itself faster than most people believe possible. And this fruit does exactly that. Tonight, I will reveal the name of this fruit, how it works so quickly, and how thousands of men are using it right now to sleep through the night, urinate freely, and regain the strength and confidence they thought was gone forever. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara, a board-certified urologist with more than 30 years of experience treating men just like you. And today, I'm going to show you the truth no one else will. Before we go any further, I want to ask you for one simple favor. If what I've said so far speaks to what you're going through, take a moment to subscribe and stay connected, because everything I share here is designed specifically to help men like you reclaim control, strength, and dignity in their health. And if you're willing, leave a quick comment with the number 1 so I know this message matters to you. If you feel differently, type 0 and tell me how I can serve you better. Now let's get into the heart of the problem, why your prostate has become enlarged in the first place, and why most treatments fail to fix it. 1. Understanding enlarged prostate, BPH, correctly. Men, let me start with a truth most doctors are too afraid to say out loud. An enlarged prostate is not simply a normal part of aging. That phrase has stolen years of peace, sleep, confidence, and dignity from millions of good men. It has convinced husbands, fathers, grandfathers that suffering is unavoidable, that waking up 5 or 6 times a night to fight for a few weak drops of urine is something they should just accept, but it is not normal, and it is not something you must surrender to. I have spoken with men who told me they stand over the toilet for minutes at a time, gripping the sink, sweating from the pressure inside their bladder, praying their body will just release, men who said the burning feels like fire, like razor blades sliding through them, like a punishment they do not understand. I have listened to men explain how they avoid road trips, golf outings, church, weddings, even time with their grandchildren because they are terrified they won't make it to a bathroom in time. These are not minor inconveniences. These moments break a man down from the inside. They chip away at his identity, his independence, his sense of masculinity. When a man cannot control something as basic as his own bladder, it affects his mind, his heart, and his pride in ways few people truly understand. But here is the shock. The prostate does not enlarge because of age alone. It enlarges because deep inside, inflammation begins to choke the tissues, and blood flow to the prostate slows down like a river turning to mud. When that happens, cells swell, toxins accumulate, and the prostate traps the urethra like a fist squeezing a straw shut. That is why your stream weakens. That is why the pressure builds. That is why the nights feel endless. Your body is not broken. It is begging for help. It is begging for circulation, for oxygen, for healing. And when you restore blood flow and reduce inflammation, the body can shrink the prostate far faster than you've ever been told. So the real question becomes, if inflammation and poor circulation are the true cause, then what can reverse them quickly and naturally? The answer may surprise you. Now we move to the part most men never hear, but every man deserves to know. 2. The symptoms destroying men's quality of life. Men, I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself a hard question. When was the last time you slept through the night without being dragged out of bed by a sudden, painful urge to urinate? For too many men, the answer is years. Some cannot even remember what it feels like to rest deeply, to wake up refreshed, strong, and ready for the day. That is how quietly and ruthlessly prostate symptoms steal a man's life. They do not take everything at once. They take it piece by piece, night after night, until one day you wake up and realize you feel like a prisoner inside your own body. I've seen men sit in my office with tears in their eyes because they are exhausted, physically and emotionally. They describe standing in the dark bathroom at 3 a.m., shivering in silence, waiting for a weak stream that barely arrives, feeling the sharp burn and the terrifying pressure that sits like a stone behind the bladder. Minutes feel like hours. Relief never comes fully, and the moment they return to bed, the urge builds again like an alarm they cannot turn off. Sleep becomes something they chase but never catch, and without sleep, everything else begins to collapse. The mind becomes foggy, energy disappears, patience fades, joy drains out of life. Worse still, these symptoms isolate men. I have heard confessions that broke my heart. Men who said they no longer attend family gatherings because they fear humiliation in public, men who delay leaving the house because they feel chained to the bathroom, men who now avoid intimacy because they are ashamed of their body's failure, ashamed of their weakening erections, ashamed that the strength they once took pride in has faded into silence. They do not talk about it because men are taught to endure pain quietly, but silently suffering does not make you strong. It makes you disappear. And here is the most painful part. Most men believe there is nothing they can do except wait until it gets worse. They believe they are trapped, but they are not. There is a reason these symptoms appear, and there is a reason they grow more aggressive over time. Once you understand that reason, you will see that suffering is not destiny, it is a signal. In the next part, I will reveal what is truly driving this problem inside your body, and why the solution is far more within reach than you've ever been told. 3. Why prescription drugs are not the long-term answer. Men, what if I told you that the very medications millions of men take every single day for prostate problems may actually be making those problems worse over time? Most people never question prescriptions. They trust them. They believe if it comes from a pharmacy, it must be the best solution. But here is the truth. Almost no one says aloud, drugs like tamsulosin, finasteride, and Flomax do not cure anything. They only numb the symptoms, temporarily, while the real problem continues to grow silently underneath. And the longer a man stays on them, the more control he loses over his body, his confidence, and his manhood. I have seen men walk into my office barely able to stand upright because these medications left them dizzy and weak. I have listened to husbands describe how their intimacy disappeared overnight because the drugs stole their desire and destroyed their erections. I have heard the pain in their voices as they explain the shame of feeling numb, disconnected from their wives, unable to perform, unable to feel like the men they once were. These men were not broken before the medication. They were broken by the medication. Some told me they felt like strangers in their own skin, like they were watching their life slip through their fingers and they could not stop it. And for what? A slightly easier urine stream for a little while? Because that is all these drugs offer. Temporary relief at the cost of permanent side effects. They never address the inflammation that is choking the prostate from the inside. They never restore blood flow. They never heal the tissue. They never fix the root cause. And when the body becomes dependent on them, the symptoms return stronger, more aggressive, more relentless than before. That is why so many men end up in a cycle of increasing doses, procedures, and eventually surgery. If you have ever wondered why you feel worse instead of better, why your energy is fading, why your masculinity feels like it is slipping away, it is not age, and it is not your fault. Something deeper is happening inside your body, and once you understand what that is, everything changes. Stay with me, because next you will learn the real cause behind prostate enlargement, and when you hear it, everything you thought you knew will shift forever. 4. The real root cause: low nitric oxide and poor circulation. Men, here is the shocking truth almost no urologist will ever take the time to explain. Your prostate is not enlarging because your body is old or weak. It is enlarging because inside your body, blood flow to the prostate has slowed to a crawl, and the tissues are suffocating without oxygen and nutrients. When circulation breaks down, inflammation explodes, And inflammation is what causes the prostate to swell like a balloon overfilling with pressure. This is not random. This is not nature punishing you. This is a system inside your body shutting down quietly, piece by piece, until suddenly you feel the consequences in the most intimate parts of your life. The muscle that controls your urine is controlled by blood flow. The nerves that control your erections are controlled by blood flow. The prostate itself survives only through blood flow. And after the age of 55, the body's natural ability to produce nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for opening and relaxing blood vessels, drops by more than 75%. Imagine a river that once flowed strong and clear, now turned into a thin, muddy trickle struggling to carry what the land needs. That is what happens inside your pelvis. With every year that passes, circulation weakens, the tissue swells, and the urethra becomes trapped inside a tightening grip. The stream weakens, the pressure rises, the burning intensifies, and you lie awake at night wondering why your body is betraying you. I have sat with men who whispered that they feel like they are slowly disappearing, that every night stolen from them feels like another piece of their life they will never get back. They tell me they feel trapped inside a body they can't control, embarrassed to speak the truth even to the person they love most. They ask me why, if this is so common, nobody ever warns them. And they ask me if there is any way out, if there is any hope left. The answer is yes. Because when you restore nitric oxide, when you reopen the blood vessels and allow oxygen to flood the prostate again, healing begins faster than anyone believes possible. Swelling reduces. Pressure eases. Urine flows freely. Nights become peaceful again. So if the real cause is poor circulation and nitric oxide decline, then the next logical question becomes unavoidable. What can naturally restore nitric oxide and reverse inflammation without drugs and without surgery? The answer lies in something simple, powerful, and proven, something nature designed specifically for healing, and what it is may surprise you. 5. The hidden truth about the pharmaceutical industry. Men, prepare yourself for something that may be difficult to hear but necessary to understand. The reason most men never escape prostate problems is not because healing is impossible. It is because the system designed to treat you was never built to cure you. The pharmaceutical industry earns billions of dollars every year from prostate medications, surgeries, and long-term treatment plans. If every man over 60 suddenly regained normal prostate function naturally, if they slept through the night without pills, if they no longer needed prescriptions or procedures, an entire industry would collapse. And that is why the truth is kept quiet. It is not that there are no solutions. It is that the solutions cannot be patented or monetized. I have spoken with men who spent years believing they were broken, believing their suffering was inevitable, believing their only option was to stay medicated forever, just to keep their symptoms from drowning them. They trusted their doctors, they trusted the system, and yet their lives continued to shrink. One man told me he felt like he was slowly being erased, that every refill at the pharmacy felt like another chain tightening around his life. Another said he felt betrayed, not because medicine failed him, but because no one ever told him there were natural, safe, powerful ways to restore his prostate without surrendering his masculinity or his future. It is heartbreaking to watch strong men reduced to silence, thinking they must choose between living in constant pain or losing themselves to the side effects of pills that never solve anything. But the most painful part of all is knowing that most men never hear the truth. The body was designed to heal when given what it needs, and the prostate can shrink naturally when inflammation is reversed and blood flow is restored. The power to reclaim your life has always been closer than you think, yet buried beneath layers of fear, profit, and misinformation. You were never meant to spend the final decades of your life trapped in a cycle of medications and sleepless nights. You were meant to live fully, proudly, and freely. So if the system has failed you, if the medication approach was never meant to set you free, then what is the real path to healing? What is strong enough to break inflammation, restore circulation, and help the prostate shrink on its own? The answer is something simple, natural, and already within your reach, and it begins with what you choose to put into your body. In the next section, I will reveal exactly what that is. 6. Natural healing. Nourishing the prostate. Men, Here is the shocking reality very few ever stop to consider. Your prostate is not suffering because it is weak, damaged, or beyond repair. It is suffering because it is starving. Every organ in your body requires the right nutrients, antioxidants, and blood flow to survive and function. Yet the prostate is one of the most neglected glands in the entire male body. We spend decades feeding ourselves foods that inflame it, habits that restrict circulation, and routines that slowly destroy its ability to heal. Then we wonder why it swells, why it hardens, why it traps the urethra like a tightening fist, why it fights against us every time we try to empty our bladder. But the truth is simple. When you starve a living tissue, it fights to survive, and the prostate has been fighting for a long time. I have looked into the eyes of men who believed they were broken beyond repair. Men who whispered that they felt their world shrinking around them with every sleepless night, men who believed they had reached the end of choices, the end of hope. But the body is far more resilient than we give it credit for. When you give the prostate what it has been deprived of, antioxidants, polyphenols, betalains, lycopene, nitric oxide-boosting nutrients, something extraordinary begins to happen. Inflammation softens, blood flow returns. Tissue begins to repair. The pressure inside the pelvis that once felt unrelenting starts to loosen its grip. Nighttime urgency fades. The exhaustingly weak stream grows stronger, and a man who felt powerless begins to feel like himself again. Nature built everything the prostate needs to recover. It is not found in a pill bottle. It is not locked behind a pharmacy counter. It is found in the foods you choose to put into your body every day. Powerful compounds that fight inflammation, open blood vessels, and support cellular healing exist in fruits. Men rarely think twice about fruits capable of delivering the nutrients and circulation the prostate has been begging for. And once you understand which of these foods have the highest potency and how to use them correctly, healing can begin faster than you ever believed possible. So the question becomes, which natural sources are powerful enough to reverse inflammation, restore blood flow, and help shrink the prostate naturally? What can a man start using tonight to feel a real difference, not months from now, but within the next day? The answer starts with one fruit so effective it has been studied around the world, and many men report feeling relief within 18 to 24 hours. And now, it's time to reveal exactly what that fruit is. 7. The fruit that shrinks the prostate naturally. Men, prepare yourself for what may be the most shocking discovery you have ever heard about prostate health. There is one fruit, one natural gift from the earth, clinically shown to reduce inflammation, restore blood flow, and help shrink an enlarged prostate so quickly that many men report noticeable relief in as little as 18 to 24 hours. This is not a myth, not folklore, not internet rumor. This is science, and the fruit is pomegranate. I have seen men who struggled for years, men who tried every medication, every supplement, every piece of advice, walk back into my office with tears in their eyes after simply adding pomegranate juice or fresh pomegranate seeds to their daily routine. They told me that within a single night, something began to shift. The burning eased, the pressure softened, the urge to rush to the bathroom every hour began to fade, and for the first time in years, they slept through the night. And as the days passed, their stream grew stronger, steadier, more complete. They felt freedom again. They felt hope again. They felt like men again. Why is pomegranate so powerful? Because it is packed with some of the strongest anti-inflammatory and blood flow restoring compounds found anywhere in nature. Its polyphenols, punicalagins, ellagic acid, and nitrates protect and repair the blood vessels that feed the prostate. They fight the oxidative stress that causes swelling. They dissolve the inflammation that chokes the urethra. They increase nitric oxide production, opening blood vessels and allowing oxygen to flow where it has been blocked for years. And when blood flow returns, the prostate begins to shrink naturally, the way it was always meant to. I have heard men describe it like someone finally released a tight rope that had been strangling them for years. One man told me he cried not from pain but from relief, because he realized he was not doomed to a lifetime of sleepless nights and humiliation. He told me he felt like he got his life back. And here is the part that should make every man stop and think. If something so simple, so natural, so safe can deliver results this powerful, why is it not the first recommendation every man hears? Why are millions still suffering in silence? The truth is even bigger than this single fruit, because pomegranate is not the only natural powerhouse capable of transforming prostate health. There are 4 more fruits every man over 60 should know, each with its own remarkable ability to fight swelling, restore circulation, and protect the prostate. And in the next section, I will reveal those 4 additional fruits, ones that may change your life forever. Stay with me, the best is yet to come. 8. Strawberry, the inflammation fighter. Men, what if I told you that one of the most powerful weapons against prostate inflammation is sitting right now in the produce section of every grocery store, and most men walk past it every day without realizing its life-changing potential? What if something as simple, sweet, and familiar as a strawberry could help reduce the swelling inside your prostate that has been stealing your sleep, your comfort, and your peace? It sounds almost unbelievable, but sometimes the most powerful answers are hidden in plain sight. Strawberries are more than just fruit. They are one of the richest natural sources of antioxidants and vitamin C on the planet, compounds that directly attack the cellular inflammation that suffocates the prostate and causes painful swelling. When inflammation is left unchecked, the prostate expands and presses against the urethra, forcing you to strain, push, and stand for minutes over the toilet just to release a weak, broken stream. But when inflammation is reduced, the tissue loosens, the swelling softens, and the body begins to restore normal function. Men describe the change like pressure lifting off their chest, like the body finally breathing again inside. That is the power of healing from the inside out. I have watched men who believed they were at the end of their options suddenly experience a wave of relief after just a few days of adding strawberries into their daily routine. They told me nighttime urgency decreased, the burning began to fade, and they finally felt like their bladder was empty after urinating, something they had not felt in years. Some even reported improvements in sexual performance because strawberries help improve blood flow throughout the entire pelvic region. When circulation returns, the prostate is not the only thing that benefits. Confidence returns. Intimacy returns. Life returns. And it is not complicated. A single cup of fresh strawberries a day can deliver enough antioxidants to combat the inflammation that is choking your prostate from the inside. Combine that with hydration and proper circulation support, and healing becomes not only possible, but fast. The body responds when we give it what it needs. But here is what will surprise you even more. Strawberries are just the beginning. There is another fruit, far more powerful in boosting nitric oxide and opening blood vessels, a fruit that has been used by elite athletes and heart patients for decades, and now we know it is incredibly effective for prostate healing too. It may be the missing link that changes everything, and that fruit is the focus of the next section, so stay with me, you do not want to miss this. 9. Watermelon, the natural blood flow booster. Men, imagine this. The solution to your weak urine stream, nighttime urgency, and lost confidence may not be a drug, a surgery, or another pill that steals your strength. It may be something so ordinary, so familiar, that most men never realize the extraordinary power it holds. What if a fruit you have enjoyed your entire life, something as simple as watermelon, contains one of the most potent natural compounds for restoring blood flow to the prostate and reversing the tight, painful pressure that has been controlling your life? It sounds almost too simple to be true, but sometimes nature hides its greatest miracles in the places we least expect. Watermelon is one of the richest natural sources of citrulline, a compound the body converts into arginine, which then boosts nitric oxide, the very molecule responsible for opening blood vessels like a river bursting through a dam. When nitric oxide rises, circulation returns. When circulation returns, the prostate receives the oxygen and nutrients it needs to shrink naturally. The inflammation that once suffocated the gland begins to melt away. The iron grip around the urethra loosens. The urine stream strengthens, and the nights that once felt endless and punishing finally begin to quiet. I have had men sit across from me, men who spent decades battling prostate pain and sleepless nights, tell me with disbelief that after adding watermelon juice or fresh slices into their daily routine, everything started to change. They said the pressure began to ease. They no longer felt chained to the bathroom. They could stand at the toilet and urinate without pushing and fighting their own body. Some told me their spouses cried tears of relief because they saw the man they once knew returning, the man with energy, clarity, and confidence. Others described the shock of waking up after a full night's sleep, something they had not experienced in years. They felt alive again, hopeful again, human again. And there is another benefit men rarely talk about but feel deeply. When blood flow improves to the prostate, it improves everywhere. Erections strengthen, desire returns. Intimacy becomes possible again, not forced, not embarrassed, not avoided. For many men, this is not just about health, it is about restoring identity, marriage, connection, and pride. But here is the truth that should make you lean in even closer. Watermelon is only one piece of the puzzle. There is another fruit, one packed with lycopene, one proven in multiple studies to shrink prostate tissue. Something every man with BPH needs to know immediately, and that powerful fruit is what we will uncover next. Stay with me. The next revelation may change everything you thought was possible. 10. Tomato, the prostate tissue protector. Men, let me say something that may shock you. One of the most powerful natural treatments for an enlarged prostate is not hidden in an exotic rainforest or locked behind a prescription pad. It is sitting right now in your kitchen, waiting to be used, waiting to change your life. A fruit so ordinary, so familiar, that most men overlook its extraordinary healing power. That fruit is the tomato. Yes, the same tomato you put on sandwiches, salads, and dinner plates may be the key to shrinking your prostate and reclaiming your strength faster than you ever thought possible. Tomatoes are loaded with one of the most potent antioxidants known to science, lycopene. Lycopene is not just a nutrient, it is a weapon that directly targets and reduces the oxidative stress that causes prostate cells to swell and harden. When the prostate tissue becomes inflamed, it expands like a balloon filling with pressure until it crushes the urethra, blocks the flow of urine, and forces you into endless, painful trips to the bathroom. But when lycopene enters the body, it begins repairing the damage from the inside out. It dissolves inflammation, protects cells from further swelling, and helps soften the hardened tissue so the prostate can shrink naturally and safely. Men describe the change like someone finally loosened a tight fist that had been squeezing them for years. I have listened to stories from men who spent decades believing surgery was their only option, men who felt hopeless and defeated as medications failed them, who added tomato-based foods like tomato juice, cooked tomatoes, or even tomato paste into their daily diet, and within weeks experienced relief so powerful they could hardly believe it. They told me their urine stream strengthened, the burning stopped, and for the first time in years, they felt like their bladder actually emptied. They said the nights that once felt endless were suddenly peaceful again. One man told me he woke up after 7 uninterrupted hours of sleep and sat at the edge of his bed and cried because he realized he finally had his life back. But the benefits do not stop there. Lycopene has also been shown to protect against prostate cell damage that can lead to far more serious conditions. It is not just a relief solution, it is a long-term shield, a layer of protection nature designed specifically for men. Yet for all its power, tomatoes are not the only fruit capable of transforming prostate health. There is another natural powerhouse, one rich in anthocyanins, proven to improve urinary symptoms rapidly and support deep healing. A fruit many men overlook, but one that may deliver results even faster. And that fruit is what we will uncover next. Stay with me. This next discovery may be the one that changes everything. 11. Blueberries, the cellular rebuilder. Men, brace yourself for this. One of the most overlooked, underestimated, and inexpensive fruits in the world may be the missing piece that helps rebuild your prostate at the cellular level and restores the comfort, control, and freedom you thought were gone forever. Blueberries, small enough to hold in the palm of your hand, contain some of the most powerful healing compounds found anywhere in nature. And for men struggling with constant urgency, burning pain, sleepless nights, and the humiliation of a weak urine stream, these tiny berries can deliver relief that feels nothing short of miraculous. Blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, natural pigments so potent they can repair cellular damage caused by years of inflammation, oxidative stress, and poor circulation. When the prostate suffers, it is because the cells inside it become inflamed and injured, trapped in a cycle that keeps swelling, increasing, and healing impossible, but anthocyanins break that cycle. They sweep through the prostate like a cleanup team, neutralizing inflammation, repairing damaged tissue, and restoring normal function where pain and pressure once lived. When healing begins at the cellular level, everything changes. The prostate softens, swelling shrinks, the urethra opens, the stream strengthens. The nights become quiet again. I have watched men who felt defeated and exhausted find hope again through something as simple as a daily cup of blueberries. One man, who told me he had not slept more than 2 hours at a time in years, explained that within just a few days of adding blueberries into his routine, he experienced something he thought was impossible. He slept through the entire night and woke up without pain, without urgency, without fear. He said he walked into the kitchen and held his wife and sobbed because he realized he was not broken after all. He just needed to give his body what it had been denied for far too long. And the benefits go even deeper. Blueberries also support nerve function and blood flow throughout the pelvic area, meaning not only can they help restore prostate function, but they can support stronger erections and greater sexual confidence. Many men told me they felt a resurgence of energy, clarity, and masculinity, like a light turning back on after years of darkness. So now you know the truth. 5 powerful fruits: pomegranate, strawberry, watermelon, tomato, and blueberry, each attacking prostate inflammation from a different angle, each helping restore what prostate problems have taken from you. You are not helpless. You are not out of options. You are not condemned to suffer. But understanding these fruits is only the beginning. The real transformation comes when you learn how to use them correctly, at the right time of day, in the right amounts, and in the right combinations for the fastest results. And that is what I am about to reveal next. Stay with me, because in the conclusion, I will show you exactly how to put this plan into action immediately, and what most men do wrong that prevents them from healing. Conclusion. Men, let me leave you with one final truth, and it may be the hardest one to hear. Suffering is a choice when a solution exists. Every night you lie awake in pain, every moment you feel trapped in the bathroom, every time you feel your dignity slipping away, those moments are not the result of old age. They are the result of not knowing what you now know. And once you know better, you must act. Your prostate is not beyond repair. Your body is not failing you. You are not broken. You are inflamed, exhausted, and starving for circulation and healing. And now you have been shown the tools that can change everything. You learned that restoring nitric oxide is the key. You learned that inflammation is the real enemy. You learned that medication alone will never set you free. And you discovered 5 powerful healing fruits: pomegranate, strawberries, watermelon, tomatoes, and blueberries, each capable of helping the prostate shrink naturally and quickly, many men feeling relief in less than 24 hours. So I ask you, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue down the path that has stolen so much from you? Or will you choose to reclaim your sleep, your strength, your marriage, your independence, your life? The road forward begins today, the moment you decide you deserve more than suffering. The next step is yours.